All right, Emerald City Comic Con, who's ready for a show? Then please welcome Popverse's Ashley Victoria Robinson.
Live long and prosper, Emerald City Comic Con. Are you ready for the coolest and strangest panel? Put your hands together for Celia Rose Gooding! Let's keep it going for Melissa Navia! And last but not least, Captain on the bridge, it's Anson Mount!
Emerald City Comic Con, engage!
That's so cute. Y'all practiced and everything? Wait, I want to see if it works more than once. Emerald City Con, engage!
Yeah!
Incredible, incredible, incredible.
Could you do that at random points throughout the panel?
Yeah, keep your flashlights on. Waste your phone battery today.
Yeah, we want to have everybody on mark at all times. First of all, thank you everybody for joining us here and all across the internet at the Popverse stage powered by Xfinity here at Emerald City Comic Con. We are so excited to ask your questions. I know you've seen the QR codes. They're going to pop back up sporadically, but please be brave and ask this beautiful, sexy cast your questions while we're all here in the same room together. Ooh, wait, there's a question that's already in from a fan that I'm going to say we start with this. Eden asks, how long did you spend learning to sing for the musical episode? And I'm going to guess Celia was like, I'm God's favorite. I can already sing.
I wouldn't phrase it that way specifically, but I've been singing longer than I've been speaking, so like 25 years? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you were born ready.
Yes, yes.
Melissa, what was your prep for the iconic musical episode like?
So I'm actually a musical theater kid, so I was very excited.
Yeah!
I was very excited when I found out we were doing a musical episode. I've been singing since forever. I love singing. And then I couldn't wait to get the script, and then I got the script, and I saw that Ortegas had no song. That made me sad, yeah. But she had wonderful verses in songs, and she was a part of everyone else's songs, so that was all great. But no, seeing the way that the cast came together and the way that everyone rehearsed, and having studio time, which was my first time recording in a studio, was very cool. And it just felt like since the day we found out we were doing a musical episode, we were all hands on deck, including those of us who maybe were not the happiest that they had to sing. That we all pulled it together.
Naming no names.
Yeah, right, no names.
Babs.
He'll tell you the same thing when he's here next time.
Our production team on the ground in Toronto did a very good job of scheduling. So actually had several weeks we had a vocal coach that come and just sort of lived in her own trailer on set, and when we had time, we went in there and did vocal lessons, and it helped, I think, me a lot. So by the time we were cutting the album, which we had to do before we shot the episode, we were all feeling pretty strong, and we were in good hands, and it's great working in a studio situation because you can just pick it apart and do a single line 50 times if you have to.
Speaking from experience?
I think Pike singing to Battelle on the bridge.
Oh my God!
While
such
we
a
were at
fun
the helm
day.
was like one of the most memorable moments on the bridge.
It was the first song or the first singing scene we shot. I think.
Yeah, it was just so much. It was such a blast, and I was like, this is what we do for a living. I was like, this is great.
Is there a lot of pressure when you're the first singing scene of the musical episode?
No, I like what I call oh shit situations as an actor. I like reading something and going, oh shit, how am I gonna do that?
Yeah.
It keeps everybody on their toes, and this one was a great challenge. So, and everybody really jumped into it with the right spirit, I think.
Spoken like a true captain, a true leader of a crew. I love that answer so very much. Okay, we've dived really deep into the musical episode. I know everyone here wants me to ask, are we going to get another musical episode? But that's not your decision to make.
No, it is not.
So let's cast our mind back. Star Trek is iconic. It's iconic for so many beautiful reasons and honestly so many cringy reasons as well. But we love the cringe. When you were joining the cast of Strange New Worlds, cast your mind all the way back, is there a sense of responsibility when you're stepping into a franchise like that?
I think absolutely. My experience is pretty unique because I'm stepping into a character that is really, really established in this franchise already and so incredibly beloved. And so to have an opportunity to reprise a character, but also put little pieces of myself in there. When I got the audition for Strange New Worlds, I didn't know that I was auditioning for Uhura.
Was it fake sides, fake character names?
Real sides, scenes that exist and made it to the final final episodes, but the character name was Yaboa.
Sure.
Not a real name, but yeah, after the fact, I found out that I was playing Uhura, and I was really grateful that they did not tell me, because I would have tanked if I knew who I was auditioning for. Yeah. So yeah, it was, the pressure came after, but getting into the universe, I think I was just really excited to have a job opportunity.
Yeah, that's a real vibe.
Yeah.
Anson, you're also playing a legacy character from Jeffrey Hunter through Bruce Greenwood. So what responsibility did you feel when you took on the mantle of Pike and then perfected Pike's Peak for meme culture to come?
Well, when I was doing the rounds in LA after I finished Hell on Wheels,
We can woo better than that for Hell on Wheels. That show rocks. Thank you so much.
I had a meeting with Jennifer McNamara, who at the time was the head of development at CBS All Access, if we remember that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they hadn't even launched, but they were buying. And she said, "Can I let you in on a secret?" I was like, "Sure." And she's like, "We're going to do a Star Trek show." And I was like, after the meeting, I walked out to the parking lot at Paramount, and I called my representatives, and I said, "Get me on this show."
Yes!
And so they actually tested me for Lorca, and then they very wisely hired Jason Isaacs. You know, I mean, when they hired him, I was like, okay, fair play, all right, it's Jason Isaacs. But then, thank God, because then the next year they called and said, "Hey, we got another captain. You know, would you be interested, and would you put yourself on tape for Captain Parker?" I was like, "Well, that's a terribly uninteresting name for a captain, but sure." I just threw it on tape with my wife and sent it in. They're like, "Okay, let's do this," and it's Captain Pike, and I was like, "Oh." But yeah, I absolutely knew. You know, I'm an old school Trekker. I know that it's more than a TV show for a lot of people. And Jeffrey Hunter's son Chris actually came to Comic-Con in 2018 when I was doing Discovery to tell me that he felt like his father would have approved of my cast.
Aww.
So that meant a lot.
And Melissa, you're in a unique position creating a character whole cloth for a whole new generation of fans. What was it like for you to birth Ortegas for us?
Oh my goodness. So for me, thank you. So for me, the audition sides and the character name, everything, it was Ortegas. It was the Ortegas that you see on screen was what I was auditioning for. And at the time, it was like nearing the end of 2020, and so as actors, you know, the whole world was in a very weird situation, but as actors, we were self-taping, you know, 100% of the time for the first time, and so when I saw that it was a Star Trek audition, instead of kind of, you know, being like, thinking about the weight of that, I was just like, oh, I'm so tired of auditioning, and I'm like, you know, what is this life that I'm living? And so I think part of that also helped, because it just kind of, you took all the tension out of it, because I was like, oh, one more audition, you know, what's the world going to be like in 2021? And I loved the breakdown. It was well-written sides, just like Celia said, like the sides that exist actually, no. For me, my callback scene exists. It was Uhura and Ortegas. It was like our what would we call it? The
pranked
the
me?
prank scene.
Yeah, that was
my
my that as well.
But the initial scene was my initial audition was a scene with a Rongovian that has not happened yet, but who knows? Maybe one day. But for me, I remember also auditioning once for Discovery for a guest star role where I was asked to do an accent, and for some insane reason, I chose a Scottish accent. And my partner and my reps, they were all like, "What?" And I said, "I don't know why, but I'm feeling Scottish for this character." And at the time, I was watching a Scottish show that I really enjoyed called Shetland. So if I ever meet anyone from that show, I'm gonna be like, "You somehow helped me get to Strange New Worlds." But no, what I think is I have I enjoyed playing a non-legacy character because. I get to create something that they've never seen before, and the audience reaction has been fantastic, and we are really blessed with an extraordinary cast, and I love doing panels with them because I learn new things all the time. Like, I didn't know that about Jeffrey Hunter's son. Like, that's great. So, but it's been a blast, a total blast.
How much bullying will it take to get you to do a Scottish accent for us right now?
So much bullying.
So much bullying. If you guys find me tomorrow, I might do it for you. And one day those audition scenes exist, so they'll come out and you'll hear whatever it is I did.
Some casting office is sitting on a gold mine right now. All they gotta do is drop it.
Exactly. They're gonna be like, if we do this, if we threaten to drop this, Melissa Navia will do whatever we want. Veteran Star Trek actor Jonathan Frakes directs a lot of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So I would love to know, does he have a unique perspective or a piece of advice that he's imparted to you over the years? Other than how to be the handsomest person in the cast.
I would say Frakes, getting an episode of Star Trek directed by someone who has acted in that universe is so helpful. He just knows the vocabulary. He knows what we're keeping an eye out for. I can't think of any advice that he's given just because he is so full of like quips and he's so funny and I adore him. One thing that he does is he says action at least 5 times before a take. He'll go, and action, 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 action. And as an actor, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for him to get his actions out and then the scene begins. But yeah, Frakes is great. He is directing something. He directs an episode in season 3. He is...
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
Say
Nothing,
it.
say nothing.
This is between us and the internet. It's fine.
Okay. I love Frakes, and that's where my note is going to end.
He's also famous in our world for the way he says cut. Mm-hmm. You remember? He always goes, "Cut print!" Yeah. And I'm like, we don't print anymore, you weird old man.
He always does it.
He really does.
And then if he doesn't do that, you're kind of like, did he not like that take? Like, did he not?
Oh,
you know?
We're not printing this one.
Right.
But
He likes to let the camera linger at the end of a scene. So you'll be in close up and you'll have just done the entire scene and he doesn't call cut. And you hear him, he likes to be on the set, so he has this little monitor, he sits on the set, like, as close to you as possible. And you hear him go like, yes, yes. He's always chewing gum. He's like, yeah.
you totally do.
Yeah, and you're thinking about your life. Yeah, beautiful. Cover it!
Is that helpful at all, or is it distracting? Oh. I can't wait for the day when we've gone through another round of Star Trek shows and we've got Star Trek Riker and Anson is directing it so that you can get inside Frakes' head by the end of it. All right, let's see what some fan questions say. Kelly asks, besides Strange New World, what is your favorite Star Trek series?
Lower Decks, easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
There we go.
gonna sing that.
Melissa?
You have to chant this now. The next generation is
TNG! 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 TNG!
They'll do anything. They'll do anything. I love you guys.
Anson, take us home. Favorite Star Trek series?
Well, the way I discovered Trek was that when I was about 7 or 8, the original started airing in syndication on our local UHF channel. My mother made me watch it with her, and so I have to go with the original.
TOS! 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 All right, the next Star Trek panel better do this for Strange New Worlds, is all I'm saying, because there's been a lot of love to go around. Greg asks, what have you absolutely not taken from set?
Anson loves this question.
Anson, what have you not taken from set?
I've taken nothing from set. You're not supposed to do that.
Nothing but the gratitude and love of your fans.
Because I am new here, I take anything that isn't glued down. They know it, and there's 40 sets of everything. No, I've absolutely not taken any of Uhura's earrings. I have absolutely not taken her Delta. And I've absolutely not taken, yeah, I think that's everything I'll hold myself legally liable for.
Fair, fair.
Those are expensive.
When I'm on set, I'm that person that I don't understand when you hear like crazy stories from set, like when, you know, actors go missing in the middle of the day and they have to track them down. Like I'm so like by the books. Like I'll go to the bathroom, I'll let 10 people know, nobody cares. And I'll be like, I'm going to the bathroom in case you're looking for me.
You'll have me tell people.
Yeah, right. I'll be like, in case they're looking for me. No one's looking
Like,
for me.
girl, they know where you
And
are.
so when it comes to like things that, you know, we might need at a later time, I was like, oh, they might need this for next season. So there's something that I cannot speak of that I asked and checked with the props department that was really, really special to me and to Ortegas that I got, but I can't say anything more than that.
Props department gave me my cooking apron from season 2.
Oh, that's cool.
So that I have, yeah.
Wait, what did they give you?
His cooking apron from season 2.
Oh, I love that. Okay, love that.
But you were allowed to. So, okay, so I'm going to ask you this question again when, 10 years from now we're doing the reunion panel and everyone will be honest about what they took from set. Han asks, are there any dishes Pike cooks real? He means that you actually cooked on set. And if so, which is their favorite?
I don't cook a lot, much to my wife's chagrin. But when I do, I make a pretty mean, like, almond-crusted chicken breast over candied pear slices, covered with a
You
roquefort
don't
cheese
cook
sauce.
candied pear slices?
That's my favorite dish to cook. But going back to the previous question, I thought of one other thing that I didn't really exactly take it from set, but so I work, I have my other Marvel life, right? Mm-hmm. And I happened to find when Feige called me for Doctor Strange, he let it slip that he was a huge Star Trek fan, which I did not know. So I had the props department make a very formal honorary commission to the Enterprise, naming him a lieutenant commander, and signed by both myself and Rebecca, and had that in it. They put a badge right in the middle of it and had it framed and sent to him, and he wrote me and said that he cried when he opened it. Yeah.
I liked all the quiet ahs from the audience throughout that story.
Hey, anything gets me another movie, man.
Exactly. Next time it'll be the big ship plaque with everyone's names on it. Michelle asks, which division of Starfleet would you want to work for? Ooh, you lit right up at that question.
Xenoanthropology, because I want to work with Sam Kirk.
Ooh, yes.
I'd be at the helm. You know?
What else do you want?
Yeah, that's just, why would you want to do anything else, I feel like? Except maybe xenoanthropology.
Yeah, it's hard to be xenoanthropology. I kind of dig that.
Good answer. You started us out real strong.
Thank you.
Emily asked, what was it like seeing the animated versions of yourself in the crossover episode?
I felt like it was accurate. It was accurate. We did, at least I did the voiceover before I saw the animated, and I like to think that based on my voiceover work in the studio, they animated it. Like when I had to do many takes of like, what was it? My eyes feel huge. Are my eyes huge? Like I just did that over and over again. And then when I saw it, I was like, yep, that's huge eyes. That's me. So.
It was really cool. Very, very, very cool. I've been animated several times. And that
Okay,
was,
flex.
Well, excuse me.
that was the only time I've been animated for comedy. And I thought it was great. I loved it.
I love it. I thought it was so cool. I had never been animated before, and so it was very special to me. But it was so cool.
Stick around a while, kid.
I am very new here on
It'll
Earth.
happen.
I am very new. But yeah, again, Lower Decks is my favorite track.
Yeah.
Next to Strange New Worlds, of course.
Obviously, goes without saying.
But yeah, I love that animation style, so it was an honor to see myself as that. Yeah.
Now I want to ask how well behaved everyone was on set, but I know they were amazing. Crystal asked if you could do a crossover with another sci-fi franchise, which one would you pick and why? I mean, you might as well just say Marvel and have Anson get paid twice.
Gosh, another sci-fi franchise. That's
You gotta yell so much louder. This room is so big. Lord of the Rings? That's not sci-fi.
Fantasy.
So I mean, I guess this isn't necessarily.
But now we can't
I
hear
guess
anything.
This is not necessarily sci-fi, but totally. I've literally been pitching it because I can. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I. Just feel, you know, I just feel like yeah. And then I don't know if anyone's seen, but like my dorky self, I was very excited to be coming to Seattle. I was in Seattle like for the first and only time like 10 years ago, but I really love Frasier, which is also part of like our Paramount world. And so I discovered from like rewatching all of Frasier since the beginning, it's chock full of Star Trek references throughout, including like Frasier speaking Klingon at a bar mitzvah, which is amazing. But yeah, so the Frasier Star Trek crossover world is pretty amazing.
I'm gonna say The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Anything to get Bruce Campbell on our show. I've been trying. I've been pitching Akiva and Henry ideas for Bruce Campbell to come on our show for a while now, and I'm determined it's going to happen.
So again, I think this is something we need to all get on social media and at Paramount, CBS, Akiva, anyone you want. This is something that we need to have happen. Celia, what would you like to cross over with?
This is not sci-fi because I do not watch a lot of sci-fi in my personal life.
X on the beach.
Maybe. No, I think a Abbott Elementary, St. Dennis sort of like situation like that would be really successful for our show. So anything to get closer to Quinta Bronson and Sarah Lee Ralph.
Yes, yes. Ben asked, who is the biggest prankster in the cast?
What is up with these
always
prank
get this
questions?
question. We always get this
We love each other
We're
deeply.
like consummate professionals on set.
Well-
And we get this. We've been getting this question since the beginning, and we're always like, we're fun, but we
It's
don't.
like, what do you people think we do?
Right. Like we're like.
Frakes. Frakes is whenever Frakes is on set, he is constantly just like having a good old time, making us feel really comfortable and bringing a lightness to set. But we're not pranking each other.
There's no like whoopee cushion.
I only pulled one practical joke this whole time, and it was on Frakes.
Yeah.
And I found an old screen test he did for Welcome Back, Kotter.
Wow.
It was in black and white,
Damn.
and his hair was feathered, and he was doing a weird Southern accent for some reason. I don't know. And I had the guys who do our videos that are on the screens. You put it on the. We were having a ready room scene, and in the middle of it, the screen came on. Frakes was directing, and the screen came on. It said special message from Federation, And then it just started playing this screen test. And afterward, and we watched the whole thing, and afterward he came up to me and said, "That was so sweet. Thank you." I was like, that's not the reaction I wanted, but okay.
I do like the idea that everyone is very serious and like marking their scripts like it's a iambic pentameter, and you're like, we are here to work. This is not fun. We are just working, and then we are leaving. And everyone out here is thinking that you're shooting spitballs and putting gum in each other's hair all day long.
Oh yeah. No. But we are very fun. We're fun. Like it's
Great
that's
time.
what people who are not fun say. We're fun.
Okay, well,
but no.
Daryl asks, who is the goofiest on set? Which actors are the least like their characters or goofiest on set?
Rebecca.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rebecca is she's so funny, but she's also so like, she has a very infectious laugh, and so no matter what's happening, if you can hear Rebecca giggle in a crowded room, like I think Rebecca's very different from her character. She's super fun and super silly.
Is that the type of thing where if she laughs, does it set everybody else off as well?
Babs is the one
Babs
who
has-
he
oh,
has
Babs has it.
that very serious man has the giggle of a schoolboy.
Yeah.
It is
Like when I make Babs laugh, I'm like, my work is done. Do you know? Like
I can go
just,
home.
Yeah, it's just the best.
It was so much fun to do the Elysian Kingdom with him.
Yes. Yes.
Because I would just improv and he could not look straight at me on those bridge scenes. It was so fun.
You break people, I think, more out of anyone on set. I think you're the one who breaks us the most, because Anson's a very serious captain, but when they give us like comedic episodes and we get to just do bullshit, Anson takes it and sprints. And yeah, we can talk about this because there's a preview that already came out. The episode where all of us get Vulcan. I hope there's a like trove somewhere of all of Anson's alts so that I can have them personally. It was just really, really good.
I mean, Paramount Plus, come on, special features tab?
We have to have it.
Yeah.
We have to have it.
That's what I was doing that's another time that I was breaking Babs too.
Yes.
Is in that I'm just gonna tell you. We did a scene in the sick bay.
Yes.
Where he was like, we were consulting him or something, and the question went to Mbenga, and I decided that I would walk across to
Oh, yeah, that's
this
in the
side of the
preview.
scene and just walk up to him and
You go, Dr. Mbenga.
and he just could not keep a straight face.
And he just has the most wonderful laugh. Like I think all of us to a certain extent, like the cast is made up of really great actors, and so like it's another side of us when we're there. Like Ethan too. Like there's that great selfie that we have in the transporter room.
Yeah.
That fans like flipped out when they see like Ethan smiling and like a way that like Spock wouldn't. And I'm just like, Ethan is, he's not Spock.
A fully functioning human being?
Yeah, which makes it like why his performance as Spock is so wonderful, because he's completely different.
Does he bully anyone into playing Magic the Gathering with him?
No, does he play Magic?
He sure
He's a
does.
huge Magic
He's
the
a
Gathering
huge Magic
nerd.
fan.
And as someone who sees him at MagicCon, he just goes
At
there
what?
like a normal person and plays Magic with people like
Listen,
on the floor.
Sounds like him.
Not
that's
that
him.
it's the same, but it's like I was talking to Celia about like Dungeons and Dragons, where it's like we've talked about it as well. I'm completely, when it comes to all these things, I'm like, what now? So this is all news to me, but maybe one day.
Well, you're in the right place for it this
yeah,
weekend, certainly.
if I'm gonna learn,
Any critters in the audience? I'm just curious. Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Oh, you just won
gorgeous.
everyone over to your side. Paul has a question that I'm dying to ask Anson. Has the hair and makeup ever made your hair too tall?
Yes.
How long a prep process is that for you?
Well, so our hair guy Daniel, he left us towards the beginning of season 1 to go do a movie with Zac Efron.
Oh.
Who's still on my shit list for that. And so there was some inconsistency in the hair department in the first season. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
took on a life of its own.
Nicole asks, do you have any inspiring messages for your kid fans? Oh. No pressure, but also no swears.
When I meet young fans, kid fans, if you will, hearing from them that Ortegas is their favorite character, or that they want to grow up to be a pilot because of Ortegas, like that just means the whole world to me. Like earlier, I met David, if you're out there, and he said I was his favorite of the whole cast, and I'm like, David, I'm good for the day.
Okay, David. I'm gonna catch you, David.
But like, David, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Where's David? David.
But our kid fans are. Is that David? David's out?
David's over there.
Oh, David, yes.
Hi, David.
But
I'm gonna catch you, David.
When I see kid fans, I think about myself when I was a kid and who I looked up to and what I liked watching, and especially with me and my my crazy haircut, seeing like kids going to space camp and getting pictures from their parents, being like, you know, look who's got the Ortegas going to space camp. And I never got to go to space camp, so this is my space camp. So hearing from kid fans is the absolute best, because it just reminds me of like who I would have loved to have seen a character like Ortegas on my screen when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And for me, I feel like I've grown up to be that and to be able to play that. And so that's really, really special.
Yeah, I wanted to go to space camp too, and we couldn't afford it. So my daughter is going to space camp. Whether she likes it or not, she's going to space camp.
And she's going to like it.
She's going to go with the Pike's Peak. Celia, you want to take us out with some nice messages for the children's? It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Oof. The world you're inheriting is not one that we wanted for you. However, look to us. We are creating the future we want for you. I don't know if you haven't been looking at this one, but this question from Jonathan makes me laugh.
Please.
Jonathan asks, and it's gone.
Okay, I know. Jonathan asked, have you ever been pulled over by a cop in your Star Trek uniform?
And do y'all think we wear our costumes off set? We're not allowed to do that.
Remember the conversation about stealing from earlier?
No, I wear my costume on set, and then I put my sweatpants on, and I go home.
You get pulled over by the cops in your sweatpants.
Yes.
Like season one, when we were shooting Toronto, and Toronto was on lockdown, for almost the entire length of our filming. Mm-hmm. But I remember leaving the building that I was staying in, and I went to set and got the Ortegas haircut, and came back, and the really wonderful security guard receptionist lady in the lobby was like, "Who are you, and where do you think you live?" And I was like, "I live here, like what you saw me this morning." And
No,
I got
you
so
don't.
like upset. And then I realized that I looked completely different to her. Yeah, so I appreciated the security that she was offering me as a tenant. So yeah.
That's the good Canadian treatment.
Right.
I'm Canadian.
Like, I don't know you.
I will say, border guards are a Trek community.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the people who work at Pearson, they're really happy
Yes.
to welcome you back into Toronto Airport?
Yeah, totally.
I've had a guy, and I'm not going to say him by name because I don't know if he was allowed to do this, but I had a guy hold up a customs line so I could take a picture with him.
You are
And it
not
was-
allowed to take pictures in the customs area of the airport.
It happened. I'll tell you what.
And also like TSA agents, like in general, like I'll be going through security, and every time I have to go through security, I act like I'm doing something wrong. I'm not, but I just
Every
can't wait to
time.
get through security to be like, oh, I made it. But at the start, when I'm very serious and everything, that's the most when I'll always get like I guess because they need to do face recognition as a living, but they recognize me and they get so happy, and so that's the happiest I've ever seen TSA agents when they're like Star Trek fans, and they're like, I'm like, yeah.
It's funny because you nailed it. You never feel more like a criminal than when you're at the airport,
Right,
doing
completely
nothing
right,
wrong.
right. You can do nothing right.
Beth asks, which genre of episode would you want next for Strange New World?
reality, like very Abbott Elementary, St. Denis Hospital, The Office, just something like that.
Like a mockumentary.
Sure.
It's fun. Melissa?
I'm gonna say nothing because we have things coming out, so I can say nothing.
It's between us and the internet.
I'd like to. I want to do another Western.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
But I also want to. I'd really like to do. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons kid. I would love to do a fantasy. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm getting really tired of the English accent thing in fantasy. Like, I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
Is it because of Excalibur? I'm not sure what it is.
Definitely.
But it's odd. It's just odd.
Which
We're
accent?
in a fantasy. When you're in a fantasy realm and
Everything's gotta be, yeah.
is speaking in a British accent, it's very strange.
Would you want to do an accent or just your voice?
I mean,
Scottish?
I don't know. It depends on the character. You know?
Fair.
Beach day. I'm gonna do a beach day episode where we all go to the beach. Oh, and I want to put Spock in drag. I want Uhura to be the first person to put eyeshadow on Spock.
Yes. Also, shout out to Kaylin who asked the question for Ethan, who's not here. But that's definitely in the queue.
I'll ask him when we get back.
Okay, yeah, we'll ask him what research he did to prepare for the iconic role of Spock. Mark says, question for Anson. Ooh, and it went away. I think it was, which hair products do they use for the Pike speak?
So I only know the one that's
Too many to count?
Opalex, or yeah, is it Olaplex? Olaplex number 5 or 6 or 9. I don't know what it is, but it's basically it's a kind of like a leave-in conditioner that has no stick, but it just gives weight, and then they use some kind of paste to, I don't know.
That's helpful.
I don't pay attention to
That's
these
helpful.
things. I hate grooming myself. So.
Hopes and dreams and aspirations. Rob asks, when is the next season coming out? Both of you
We
assume
don't
anyone
know.
up here knows.
We don't know, babe. We find out
You
moments
you'll
before
probably
y'all find out.
Well, they just
before we
released
find out.
some of our portraits from.
Yeah, our posters
so
are out.
something is on the offing. I just.
Soon.
Yeah, they don't tell us anything.
They don't tell us.
I think, and this is just from a fan standpoint, on important anniversary days, I find is when they start, they like letting us know when stuff's coming. So like whenever, yeah.
You want to leave it at that?
I do.
Brianna asks, how do you balance, how are you doing balancing the legacy of these characters with trying to chart your own interpretation? That's a good question, and I'm sorry that I butchered it for you.
Gosh, I wish I had an answer that like was better than whenever it feels right. But our writing team, they're incredible. They give us a lot of, they give us a wonderful foundation to build these characters off of. And as we do more and more seasons, they start to tailor what happens for these characters to our certain skills. And I think with Uhura, I'm so protective of her and I'm so precious of her, not only her as a character, but also her legacy and her relationship to the iconic Nichelle Nichols, that I only want to find pieces of myself after the fact. Of like, oh, that's very Celia. Like one thing in the beginning of the season when I was still getting my like understanding of TV framing, Uhura held her hands in a way that she like, can you hold this for me really quick? Thank you so much. She holds her hands like this, like she crossed them over themselves, and I didn't realize that that sort of handhold was gonna be in frame because it looks kind of crazy, but that I saw after the fact and I was like, that was Celia self-soothing, and it just sort of bled into Uhura, because I'm pretty sure like when you hold your hands like that, it feels like someone else is holding your hand. This is a really lonely thing to say on the microphone.
In a room of X number of
Yeah, and on the
thousands of
internet.
people.
But yeah, that was a little bit of Celia that made its way into Uhura, but it wasn't intentional. It was very after the fact. And then the musical episode, I think, was the most I had lended of myself, because I don't know how to sing like anybody but me. And so, yeah, just little pieces here and there, whenever it fits, whenever it's right, whenever it's appropriate. But I want to keep my Uhura as recognizable as possible, because Celia and Uhura are very different. But yeah, I want to do it right.
But there also is no right
True. Very true. Thank you.
in creating art. There was a question, I'm sorry, I don't know who asked, but it was, has Pike visited Pike Place Market yet? So, Anson,
A long time ago, yeah.
Are you going to go back and see the guys throw the fish?
I don't know if we,
have
In
no
all
have
your
time.
infinite free time.
yeah. But it's a great place. I love it. I have fond memories.
That was Susan, because they brought the question back. Thank you so much. Jessica asked, could Captain Pike publish his cookbook, please?
Right? I have been saying to the people in what
I don't know.
The decision-making
The suits.
department.
decision-making department. I've been saying for years we should do a cookbook. And they say, yeah, we should talk about that. And then I never hear anything. So would you do me a favor? Like, post about it. Say you want a Captain Pike cookbook.
Yes.
Demand it.
And they'll do it. They're listening. I mean, they'll do it if you say you want it.
And to piggyback off of that, I would love for there to be a Starfleet registered do-rag. I need that. I need that. And so after you're asking for the cookbook, for those of us who wear do-rags and need that for our curl pattern, if you could just also ask for a Starfleet do-rag so I can have one, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
And if you could also ask for an Ortegas action figure,
Yeah!
you know,
Yes!
I would appreciate it. These are the things we want.
This
Now
is what
go
we
and
want.
Do them.
Homework. Thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you, guys.
Luke asked, what is the most mundane thing you would use the teleporter for?
If I could, like, if there's ever a TV remote on the other side and you're so comfortable in bed and you're, like, just curled up right, but that remote is out of reach, if I could, like, transport it to me, that's the most mundane thing.
Yeah. Where are we transporting ourselves to? That's very dull.
I feel like using the transporter is in and of itself not mundane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to
Why do we have a shuttle? Like, why is that a thing?
We also do a lot of this on set. Like we
I was
ask
thinking
God,
about it the other day. It was the first time I realized. I was like, why do we have a shuttle?
Have you fallen into the trap of how does currency work in the Star Trek universe? Because that's a fun one to get stuck in.
What's that?
The
Currency?
Yeah, how does currency work? Like, how do
There's
people
no
in
money.
Starfleet get paid?
It's a moneyless
There's no
society.
money.
But there's Latinum.
There's
Some
That's-
societies have money.
yeah.
So
I don't know.
if you think
I
about
don't
it too
know.
much, it's
Yeah. I don't know.
But we do a fair amount of this on set. Like I want you guys to know, like so much of it. I always say, like, the people who are working on Strange New Worlds are fans of Star Trek, and so when we were first coming out and that first season came out, I told everyone it's in very, very good hands. But in addition to that, we have we'll have storylines, we'll have episodes, and things will happen where everyone in the cast will be like, but how does this work? Or my favorite was, I've told this story before, when Frakes was directing an episode and we were on the bridge and there was it was something that was hitting the Enterprise, and all of us
Yes.
were getting into really well, what is it that is hitting us? What is the velocity it's coming at? How big is it? And what exactly started it? And Frakes was like, what is happening right now? and he thought we were kind of joking, and I was just like, of all people, you should understand why this is. But I was so proud of my entire crew in that moment. I was just like, this is how we do it here on Strange New Worlds.
We do have a lot of moments where it's it just makes sense for the plot of you're being hit by something, so you all go this way. But Anson has made it very clear that there is no gravity in space, and so sometimes when we're being hit in certain directions, it wouldn't make sense for us to move in a certain. We just ask a lot of questions that it's hey, for the plot, you get hit by an asteroid, you go dink, and it goes that way.
Right.
Just do it.
Right. There's only so much we can push it. Like at the start of Elysian Kingdom, I had many questions as to why Ortegas was standing up at the helm that allowed her to get pushed over the railing, and I'd be like, but why is she standing? Why would she be standing?
Because they said so.
And finally, they were just because we need her to get a concussion to get into the episode. And I was like, well, when the fans come for me at conventions,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to send them back to you. And they've come. They've come.
I like the idea that you have everybody's at. You can be like, you can ask Davey Perez about this one, and whatever. Melissa asks, well, how do you all break down your scripts? Name twin Melissa. How do you all break down your scripts when you are preparing for an episode? Who's got the highlighters? Who's got the tabs?
I hit Command F. I find Uhura. I just want to see how many words I have, and then I'll read the full episode, then I'll find my lines, and then I'll figure out how to just map it through, because we're often getting scripts while we're working on another episode, so it's all about the timing of when you're done shooting an episode all day, how do you go home and get ready for the next thing you have to do, and I just break it down that way of like, oh, during this week, I'm gonna have these scenes, so it's important that I get at least this far in my understanding of the script so that I can get at least 6 hours of sleep. It's a lot of like backtracking, but the first thing is Command F, Uhura, enter. And then we take it from there.
Melissa, how do you break down your scripts?
Command F, Ortegas.
Thank you.
That's where it starts. That's where it starts.
Anson, same answer?
I don't. If I have questions, I ask the writer who wrote the particular episode. I decide what the exterior journey is clear. I decide what the interior journey is, if there is one, and what are the different pieces of that, and how does that add up to a step in the overall story of Pike. That's all I really need to know. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, and my favorite part is speaking with the director and the writer, because I feel like that informs so much of what we're doing, and it also helps me look at the character in a way where, because I have certain thoughts and things that I see for Ortegas or that I'm thinking about, and speaking with them, especially the writer, like I think writers are rock stars, and directors as well,
Yes.
and they do things that I can't do in the way they
Yes.
do it, so. But speaking to them really kind of gives me everything I need for the basis of launching into the episode.
There's a really interesting thing that happens with a show. Like throughout the first season and halfway through the second usually, I find myself going to the writers a lot with questions about the character, right? And mining for information. And somewhere around halfway through second season, that starts to flip. And suddenly, the smart writers start to consider you the authority on your character, and they will start coming to you with questions. But more than anything, it's just you learn that your time on set with writers is very important, because without anybody having any clear agenda, you will end up having conversations that lead into ideas. That is very important for a series. So our show does a very good job of making sure that the responsible writer is on the set for their episode, so that those conversations are facilitated. Because the writers' rooms are always in LA. They don't have to move to Canada. They don't have to pay Canadian taxes. And every time I ask about that, they're like, oh, no, it has to be in LA. It has to be in LA. I'm like, why does it have to be in LA?
Why can't we also be in
Yeah.
LA then, if it has to happen
That is
way?
such a good question that I co-sign and support. Why doesn't everyone just shoot in LA?
Well, it's
Especially
because
now.
it's a hot place. If I could choose anywhere to shoot, it would be in New York. That's where I'd like to be. That's home.
Mary asked a question that was taken away, but I remembered it because it's a great question. She asked...
These questions are like cycling through, guys. Like I'll see a question, I'm like, that's great, and then it goes away.
Yeah. But it was, is it difficult to be one of the best-looking casts on television?
No.
No, not at all.
No, it's a hot cast.
I
it's a
love
good-looking
being
group.
surrounded by like gorgeous people. Like they are
Right.
all gorgeous. All my friends look really good.
I can't wait for your upcoming podcast. All my friends are hot.
All my friends are hot.
Gillen asks, what has your character taught you about yourself?
That I really like flying. I love flying. Like it reminded me how years and years ago I took an introductory flying course because I've always loved flying and I wanted to, I was thinking about, getting a pilot's license, and this was like 15 years ago. And is just expensive, as an actor. And this reminded me, and again, it was fans coming up and saying that they're getting their pilot's license. And then one day I was like, wait a minute, I could do that. So I'm in the middle of trying to make that happen. It's a little tricky with filming schedules, but yeah, but I like flying.
Celia, what has Uhura taught you about yourself?
I think Uhura has taught me, or she has reminded me, how important it is to admit when you need help.
Beautiful.
I, as a person, am not very good at that. I like moving about the world like I know everything all the time, and that's impossible. It's vulnerability can be a superpower. It's important to ask for help, and that sometimes you just have to ask for help, and that's okay. And it does not make you weak or less than. It means you're human, seeking human connection. Hello. And yeah, that's it.
Anson, what has Christopher Pike taught you about yourself?
Chris has this very interesting flaw for somebody whose time is limited. He can get impatient, and I love that. I think that's just such a well-drawn foil. And but when I do it, I realize that I have the same problem. I've been working on my patience for a while. And I'm getting better at it, I think. Kids help with that.
I don't know if we can end it on a more beautiful note than that, so I want to say thank you, everybody here, for joining us for the Star Trek Strange New Worlds panel. Be sure that you are hitting up photo ops and that you are seeing these beautiful, sexy people. They are only here for a few more hours, so come by and tell them how much you love this panel. Give it up one more time for the cast of Strange New Worlds!
They're doing the song. Listen.